Welcome to Recap in Short. Today I will show you a crime, drama, and thriller film from 2024 titled Lucky Bhaskar. Spoilers ahead. The film opens on the morning of 29 March 1992 in Bombay. Our protagonist, Bhaskar Kumar, is out jogging and narrating insights about the stock market. He reflects that while there are many ways to earn money, everyone bows to Dalal Street, India's own Wall Street, making Bombay the financial capital of the country. As Bhaskar speaks, he is approached by CBI's Chief Investigation Officer, Lakshman Rao, who escorts him to the bank where he once worked. There, Bhaskar was informed that he is being accused of several financial crimes, including embezzlement, securities fraud, and misappropriation of bank receipts. Bhaskar then begins to recount his journey, taking us back to August 11, 1989. At that time, Bhaskar was a cashier at the Kolaba branch of Magadha Bank, a private bank that had survived nationalization. He earned a modest salary of 6,000 rupees. Each day, he would accompany the vault manager, Narayanan, to withdraw and later return the day's cash. Bhaskar handled all financial transactions with diligence and was so dedicated that he had received the Best Employee Award 3 years in a row. He was also promised a promotion to Assistant Regional Manager if he met his fixed deposit targets. After hours, Bhaskar ran a side hustle at a cafe near the bank. There, he assisted customers in filling out forms and provided minor services for small payments. His partner in this venture was his childhood friend, Samba. The two had studied together until the 10th grade. But while Samba failed and became a peon, Bhaskar passed and pursued a banking career. Despite being a banker, Bhaskar was drowning in debt. He had borrowed from the bank and nearly everyone in his neighborhood, especially the local moneylender, Patel Bhai. Bhaskar's family situation was also grim. Bhaskar lost his mother when he was just a child. His father, Prahlad, a former chartered accountant, had been paralyzed and rendered mute after being betrayed in a business deal. Bhaskar's wife, Sumati, was his college sweetheart. They had a love marriage and a 6-year-old son named Karthik. Besides supporting his own family, Bhaskar also bore the financial burden of his younger siblings' education. Sumati's family disapproved of their marriage and continued to urge her to leave Bhaskar, citing his poverty. They believed her wealthy brother could provide a better life for her and Karthik. Debt collectors like Patel Bhai regularly harassed Bhaskar at home, demanding repayment. Although Sumati dreamed of starting a pickle business, they couldn't afford to take that step. At the cafe, a man named Anthony frequently visited Bhaskar. Anthony claimed he had imported 40 TVs from Malaysia worth 5 million rupees, but his partners had backed out. He had already paid 3 million rupees and needed another 2 million rupees, promising to repay it with 20% interest. Lacking any collateral, Bhaskar repeatedly declined. One day, Patel Bhai publicly confronted and humiliated Bhaskar, tearing his shirt pocket and taking his scooter. Bhaskar ran to the bank, only to learn that someone else had been promoted to the post he was promised. He soon realized it was due to regional bias. The new appointee shared the manager's Bengali background. When Bhaskar confronted the manager, he was threatened with exposure for his cafe-side business, which could cost him his job. Frustrated and dejected after years of honest service, Bhaskar left. Later at the cafe, Bhaskar met Anthony again. Desperate and disillusioned, he agreed to lend Anthony the 2 million rupees, which he stealthily took from the bank vault, on the condition it would be returned by Sunday with a 50,000 rupees profit. Anthony and Samba took the money and surprisingly returned it that same night with the promised interest. Bhaskar learned Anthony was importing TVs illegally under the label of spare parts to avoid taxes, earning huge profits. Tempted by easy money, Bhaskar joined Anthony's operation. He began taking cash from the vault, using it for business, and returning it afterwards. Bhaskar's wealth quickly grew. To hide this, he told his suspicious wife he had joined an import-export business with a friend, a half-truth. At his son's birthday party, Anthony shared that he was soon leaving for the US to live with his son, but before that, he planned one final deal: smuggling 3 foreign cars worth 5 million rupees. He needed 1 million rupees up front. Bhaskar was hesitant, but the allure of his son's joy and a better life persuaded him. He orchestrated a plan, distracting Narayanan on a call while withdrawing the amount. But complications arose when the original buyer was arrested. They scrambled to find a new dealer in Goa, disguised the cars with fake government plates, and even used beggars as fake politicians and a bar dancer as a celebrity to dodge police checks. Ultimately, they sold the cars in Goa, earning massive profits. Anthony left for America soon after. Bhaskar returned to the bank to return the money, only to find it surrounded by police. He panicked, but soon learned that the regional manager and assistant general manager had been arrested for fraud. Now needing to replace the money discreetly, he pulled off a clever trick. He put the money in the tray on his table, creating the illusion of it being the money taken out from the vault in the morning. His deception worked, and he narrowly escaped. With 6 million rupees now in hand, Bhaskar used it to send his brother to a prestigious college in London, hoping for a brighter future. Impressed by Bhaskar's hard work and with the intention of rebuilding the bank's reputation after the fraud, the bank chairman promotes him to assistant general manager, increasing his salary to 19,500 rupees along with perks. Back in the present, the CBI officer asks how a simple bank employee earning 19,500 rupees has 1 billion rupees in his account. Bhaskar resumes his story. As assistant general manager, Bhaskar was tasked with managing important client accounts, one of which belonged to Harshad Mehra, the infamous big bull of the Bombay Stock Exchange. Harshad was a high-value client who generated millions for the bank. The banks could lend money not only to companies but also to other banks through a broker. In this case, Magadha Bank lent to Qatari Bank, with Harshad as the intermediary. The loaned money first entered the broker's account before being passed on. The broker earned a 0.01% commission. Suraj, Harshad's assistant, routinely brought bank receipts for Bhaskar to sign. Bhaskar initially refused bribes and questioned delays, but when he accessed Harshad's bank statement, he discovered that Harshad was rerouting loan funds into his company account. Investigating further at Qatari Bank, Bhaskar realized that Harshad had roped bank employees into the fraud. To understand Harshad's strategy, Bhaskar visited Dalal Street. He learned that Harshad invested the funds into the stock market, buying low, selling high, and repaying loans with the profits. Eventually, Bhaskar struck a deal with Suraj. In return for signing bank receipts, he would get 1% of the bank receipt amount in cash and advance tips on share trades. Suraj agreed. Bhaskar was now flush with black money. For laundering black money, Anthony had previously introduced him to Anwar, who was good at money laundering. He rigged the lottery win, and Bhaskar won 2.5 million rupees. After receiving 1.7 million rupees post-tax, he invested it using insider tips from Suraj and saw his money grow 4.5 times in 2 weeks. Bhaskar's sister soon expressed a desire to marry. During wedding shopping, the family faced discrimination due to their appearance. Enraged, Bhaskar bought designer clothes worth 600,000 rupees and a flagship car for 1.6 million rupees. Returning to the same jewelry store, he purchased the entire counter to make a statement. His sister's wedding was grand and lavish. To avoid scrutiny, Bhaskar finally launched the pickle business Sumati had always wanted, using it as a front. He also set up shell companies posing as foreign clients. As his wealth increased, Bhaskar's attitude changed. He grew arrogant and even destroyed Patel Bhai's scooter in a fit of ego. Sumati noticed this and confronted Bhaskar. Their arguments escalated. Eventually, the Qatari bank manager visited Bhaskar and saw a bank receipt for 900 million rupees, 10 times more than any he had issued. It became clear that Harshad had forged bank receipts using fake signatures and was likely doing the same across banks. Fearing that exposing the fraud could crash the economy and implicate them all, the Qatari manager suffered a fatal heart attack and died. Bhaskar confronted Suraj, demanding the settlement of the previous amount before the next bank receipt. Suraj warned that Bhaskar was now deeply involved and couldn't back out. Meanwhile, Samba was arrested. He confessed to entering illegal deals and losing everything. Around the same time, Sumati's family, now in need, received no help from her, mirroring their past indifference toward her. In a fit of rage, Sumati destroyed the pickle shop, heartbroken by Bhaskar's transformation. She only wanted the caring husband she once knew. Bhaskar's father, who had remained silent for years, finally spoke. A former chartered accountant, he told Bhaskar he knew about the fraud all along. When Bhaskar tried to justify himself, his father calmly said, "It's not about how good you are at gambling. It's about knowing when to stop." The message hit home. Sumati, disgusted to hear that the food business was just a front, distanced herself. Bhaskar finally began to reflect. When Suraj returned with a new bank receipt, Bhaskar refused to sign. Despite mounting pressure from the bank's higher-ups, he stood his ground. He starts to reflect on his life and chooses to turn over a new leaf. He helps his brother-in-law start a business with one condition: 10% of the profits must go to his old friend Samba. He even apologized to Patel Bhai and replaced the scooter he had broken. Bhaskar then tells Sumati that no matter how much money he earns or how powerful he becomes, for her, he will always remain the same old Bhaskar. In a tense meeting, the manager confronts Bhaskar about his refusal to sign Harshad Mehra's bank receipts. Bhaskar explains that until previous accounts are cleared, he won't sign anything new. When the manager tries to pressure him, Bhaskar stands firm, saying he cannot betray the bank. He resigns on the spot. Before leaving, he addresses the staff, stating that he has always treated the bank like a mother, and now he chooses to walk away with dignity rather than be complicit in betrayal. The story returns to the present timeline. The CBI officer Lakshman Rao tells Bhaskar that there's no solid evidence to implicate him, but warns that they can still frame him and freeze all his accounts. However, he offers Bhaskar a way out: sign a check in Harshad Mehra's name. Harshad will transfer the amount to Magadha Bank, which will help the bank avoid scrutiny during the RBI audit. Bhaskar realizes this was never really about Harshad's money. It was about his money. It's then revealed that the CBI officer is in cahoots with the bank's manager and chairman. The chairman admits that Bhaskar's promotion was just to get his signature on forged bank receipts and use him as the scapegoat. They were the ones who had fabricated documents from Qatari Bank and forged signatures. Harshad used these bank receipts to funnel money into the stock market, and the corrupt officials took a percentage in return. Not wanting to endanger his family, Bhaskar signs the check. But when Suraj attempts to deposit the check, it's revealed that Bhaskar's account had been deactivated 10 days earlier. He had already withdrawn the entire balance. The bank's digital system still showed the account as active because it was updated at month's end. The accurate update had only been logged manually in the bank logbook and hadn't been uploaded yet. Meanwhile, Bhaskar and his family had already left the country. He had confessed everything to his father in advance and made plans to start over. With Anthony's help and using his father's contacts, Bhaskar had purchased a hotel in Boston and secured an investor visa in record time. Soon after, the RBI raided Magadha Bank. The chairman, the general manager, and the corrupt CBI officer were arrested. It's revealed that Bhaskar had figured out the entire scheme when he reviewed Harshad Mehra's bank statements. He understood that the chairman and manager were making him a scapegoat. Instead of resigning quietly, he created a scene, positioning himself as a whistleblower and victim. He also personally submitted a complaint to the RBI and backed it with proof, clearing his name. That's how he managed to keep his record clean. Months later, we see Bhaskar living peacefully in the United States, now financially secure and finally at peace. In the closing scene, Bhaskar reflects, "It doesn't matter how well you've played. What truly matters is knowing when to stop." Make sure to like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.